Hello, welcome to another episode of Student It Presents. Today we're just going to talk about bills in student accommodation. It's going to encompass everything. So I wanted to talk about bills. Are they included in your rent? Are they not included in your rent? What you can do to keep them down, and management companies that can manage them for you. Plus, finally, what you can do if you're not the nominated bill payer of your house. So to start, bills is an added extra on your rent. So if you get all bills included in rent, basically what happens, your rent could be £80 and then £15 a week is added on top for bills. It means then you get a fair usage of bills, not unlimited usage because they obviously can't afford that, but you get a fair usage of bills on top. If you don't have bills included, what you're just paying is your rent. Nothing else, no bills included, just your rent. I must add, at the minute, students are required to pay. They're not required to pay council tax, but they are required to pay TV licensing. So please make sure you do get that. Some letting agents do add it in as a little treat for you guys. What happens if you need to set your bills up yourself? So, for example, you can only have one nominated person on each account, and that means that one person is responsible for the payment. And the company will only liaise with that one person. You can't have 5 people on a water bill account. They refuse to have that. It'll just be one person, and they're responsible for paying it, and then they are responsible for getting the others to pay them. And this causes a massive feud between students. There's a lot of arguments. So, because what typically happens is students then don't pay the other student back on time, and it causes some friction and it makes it a little bit awkward and frosty. And that's how they set about these management companies, and that's why these were created. So basically, this management company comes in between the utility company and the student, and they sit there. So what they do is you tell them there's 5 students, you want all these all these contracts, so water, electricity, Wi-Fi and TV, so like Netflix. They'll go out and get the contracts, they'll get them installed and organise it for you. They'll be the nominated person on the account. They will then bill them, they will pay it, then they will recoup the money from you. If you don't pay it, you are held individually liable. So instead of having one person nominated on that account, say it's a house of 5, they will send a split bill between 5 of you. So say it's £100, they will split the bill £20 each between each room. If you don't pay it, obviously they will come after you. They do charge a management fee. It depends where you go, but normally they're around about £10-15 a month for a management fee, which doesn't sound a lot, but if you add that up over the year, obviously it's £150 plus. So you've got to think about that. But is it worth the hassle of doing it yourself, being the nominated person and trying to get that money back? There are ways you can help yourself in the start. So if you decide that you don't want to pay that management fee or the company and you want to do it yourself, make sure you get all of your mates down into the living room. You have a good firm chat with them and say, right, these are the providers we're going to use. I will be the nominated person. I expect payment on this date, and it's roughly going to be this much a month. Get it in a standing order. Get them to do it there and then. Do not accept that they will do it later. It takes 2 minutes to do it on online banking app. And then it carries on like that every month. If there's no payment, you chase them up and you give them time to pay it. And if they can't pay it, you ask for a reason, or you ask their parents, can you pay it for them instead, and do it that way. If not, it just leads to a lot of frostiness, and it can put you out of pocket as well, which is the last thing that you want, because you still need to be able to pay your rent, your bills, and your living costs. There is one company that we work with, as Student It. We work with a company called Glide. If you want me to introduce you to them, again, let me know. I think they're quite a good company. That's why I partnered with them. They have a broad aspect of utility companies on their books and a lot of students, and they do graduates as well. If you want that, let me know. I'll put the link below. Up to you. How can you keep bills down though? This is the perfect one for students. That's because if we don't get bills included, we are liable for the cost. If we get bills included, we can be a little bit more flexible, so we can have the heating on a little bit higher or a little bit longer. But what we have seen from landlords is the fact that if your bills are included, they don't want you to go too high on the heating, They don't want to have the water on too long. They don't want to have too long of showers because it ramps the bills up and they might lose money instead of keep a break even on bills or even make money. And if they're losing money, it's not good because they have to recoup it from somewhere, which likely means they'll either raise your bill prices or they will raise your rent, which you don't want to do. So how can you keep your bills down? 1, try not to put on the heating until you absolutely need to, and this sounds mental, but put jumpers on, put trackies on, get your socks on, get your slippers on, have a blanket. You know, if it's just a little bit cold, don't put the heating on because that ramps your bills up quite a lot, because it's not just heating one room, it's heating the whole house. And that leads me on to my next step. If you are going to put the heating on, make sure the radiators are in the places that you frequent most. So bedrooms, bathrooms, and communal areas like living rooms. Kitchens, it doesn't matter so much, you know, if you have the hob or the oven on. If you have downstairs bathroom, you don't use that much, leave that off. Hallways, again, if you don't really use it, turn them down, and in that way, it'll heat the essential rooms and the essential rooms only, and that is a good way to keep your bills down. Electricity, just make sure you turn off lights and bits if you don't use them. TVs are a big one. Charging laptops is another big one. Lamps, if you can have LED lamps and bulbs, another great way to save a bit of money. Gas is another one. If you have a gas boiler, again, that fits into the same as heating one. If you have a gas cooker, pretty simple, don't leave it on too much. And if you can bulk cook for everyone, do that rather than 5 people cooking individually. That will save you a massive amount. You know, if five people need to cook pasta and they do it individually, it's going to be a lot more than if one person cooks pasta for 5 people. I know it might not fit in, but you try and fit in as much as possible. And finally, I'm going to end on windows. It might sound crazy, I'm going to end on windows. However, when you have heating on, remember not to have your windows open. Basically, just throwing your money out there. However, if you are doing some drying, make sure you have a window open so the moisture can get out. Windows are important because if you trap all the moisture in, you'll get condensation and mould. And you don't want that. That's bad and it'll affect your health. However, you need to let airflow go through the house. And a quick little tip, if it's ever too hot in the house, close your curtains during the day while it's sunny, open the window at night and have it closed during the day. It'll stop the heat coming in and the hot air coming in, but obviously let the cool air in during the night. If you get any questions, let me know. If you want to talk about bills management, how you can get them down, what it's like in your accommodation, just let me know and I'll be happy to talk.